Yo, what's good, Splat Nation? Splat Picks Boys back, episode 17. Big stuff coming. James, you want to start us off? You want to introduce our
Yeah,
guest?
no. Obviously, we've hit kind of the down period in sports with NBA finishing and the NHL almost done. But we still got some picks to make, some interesting stuff. And I think we'll start with the College World Series Finals. So Tennessee playing A&M, another SEC matchup to finish the season, just like last year and just like 3 years before that with LSU and Mississippi State. So obviously, we got a bunch of Tennessee guys in here as well as some Mississippi State guys. So the Mississippi State guys have seen a championship. Tennessee guys are open to see it. So Drew, obviously diehard Tennessee fan, start us out with this one.
Oh, it's plain and simple. Both of these teams undefeated going into Omaha or on this run in Omaha. So they've used the same number of pitching. Tennessee's bats look unstoppable. A&M's looked great. A&M has some good arms. As long as Tennessee pitched like they did in the second, third, and fourth game, yeah, they played four, right? No, just the second and third game with Drew Beam and then what's his name, Xander Sechrist. Those two come in games two. Hopefully, there's not a game three. Tennessee's locking them down. Christian Moore should not have been second team All-American, one of the best players in all of college baseball. So the Vols are taking this. Took him at the beginning of Omaha. I'm riding with my Vols.
All right, next? PD.
Tennessee just kills them in everything, in my opinion. Their stats are so much better at batting, and I just think in the field their pitching is just so much better than Texas. It's just not comparable. But
all right, that's two for Tennessee. Ben?
I mean, Tennessee's the better hitting and pitching club with Moore and Burks. I honestly think they'll sweep. And with A&M not having Montgomery, it's going to be hard for them because Jay Slavolette can't do all of it. They're going to have help through the top through the bottom of that lineup. And I think that Tennessee will probably destroy their pitching staff with Beam. And so I think the Vols get them in two.
Everyone picking Vols? James, are you picking Vols, yes or no?
You want me to go next?
Yeah. If you're picking A&M,
without Montgomery, I said that earlier on last week that I don't want to, or I might have just texted it to Fletcher. I don't want to pick A&M because they're missing their best player, top 10 draft pick. And then Tennessee clears them in the field. Tennessee clears them in pitching. And when I look at fans that are showing up, I go immediately to the Rocco's Jello Shot Challenge that they have every year at Omaha. And Tennessee's been killing it at that, which means that the fans are out there. And obviously A&M fans are great too. They're a cult, so obviously they're going to be great. But I think Tennessee's going to have more fans there. They're better at hitting and pitching. And so I don't know how you don't take the Vols. I think they could sweep like Ben said.
I'm going to pick Tennessee because I picked them at the very start. Might as well just write it out. When I was at work, we had a radio going with the game on against Florida State. That game was insane. First few innings, I'm just saying. All right, but I'm going Tennessee.
Yeah, no. Agree with you. Tennessee all the way. All right, next.
Tennessee, well, hold up before we move on. I think Tennessee proved how good of a team they were in that first game against Florida State. They gave up like 6 runs in the 5th or 6th inning, got down big. Got down like 4 or something, and then brought it back in the 9th inning. They showed that they can finish out a game, and I think that was the one missing piece. And if they can do that, nobody's stopping them. They're breaking the number 1 seed curse.
Okay. A little question on that one. Since you are in the championship now, I feel like I can ask this. That was a strike, right?
No.
He clearly swung.
It does not matter. The plate does not matter. The plate does not matter. It's breaking the wrist. He did not break his wrist. He did not. Because think, a dude can be standing at the front of the batter's box. It doesn't. If you look in the rules, it doesn't matter about home plate. FSU fans just wanted something to complain about. It does not matter.
It was a strike, right? You still play baseball, right?
Yes.
It was a strike.
His barrel crossed the plate. And
it doesn't matter if it crosses the plate, though.
When his swing is like that,
he held it. He did not break his wrist. That's the thing is, if he breaks his wrist, it doesn't matter.
What if I
The
switch
play
up?
has nothing to do with it.
I've seen
Huh?
a lot less called for a strike than that, and that was, I mean, when the shoulders are that far turned, it
Doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't matter anymore.
very
I still think
That's
it's
why
a
I felt like
strike.
I could ask. You're on the championship. I felt like I could ask that question without it
I
being
really don't
too
think he
terribly
broke.
controversial.
It's about as close as it can get. So like I don't think it's like most definitely a strike. Like he did not break his wrist, which is the thing that's what I care about. But
All right, y'all want to get into something that we've never had on the show yet?
Yes, sir.
Let's hop into some WNBA action. It's getting a little heated. It's getting some intense. It's popping up all on my feed. WNBA. Caitlin Clark is putting it on the map. She's changing this league for good. So let's start with a girl that helped propel the WNBA a little last season, a couple seasons ago. Sabrina Ionescu and the New York Liberty are facing the LA Sparks, who had 2 top 10 picks in Rakia Jackson and Cameron Brink. Ben, you were talking about Rakia a few minutes ago. Who's your pick in this game?
I mean, I have the Liberty. They looked like the better team with Brianna Stewart and Sabrina. I think they're unbeatable with those two right there. The Sparks are very young with the 3 rookies they have. I think Rakia and Brink will make a big impact in later years, but not in year one. I just think Sabrina and Stewart are the difference makers in this one. So I have the Liberty.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. I actually had the pleasure of going to a WNBA game last year. Got to watch Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart in New York. Was Stewart on the team last year? I don't know. Beats me. But yeah, they actually played tonight, and the Liberty won by 13. Sabrina dropped 31 on that poverty franchise called the LA Sparks. Almost had a double-double. I mean, she shot over 50% from 3. I thought she was the next great thing before there was Caitlin Clark. She was the next great thing before Caitlin Clark. And, I mean, now that Brink is out for the season with a torn ACL, and she can't even participate in the 3-on-3 Olympics, so that kind of screws over America right there. But, yeah, I think the Liberty, easy win. I think they're playing at home, too. They're 13-3 and 7-1 at home. I think they'll take this one with ease. True.
Yeah, I agree with you. First of all, I don't pay a ton of attention to WNBA. I don't think any of us are like complete fans. Sabrina has some great court shoes. I was in the market for some, and I just didn't. I had no clue that they were women's shoes, and I go, "Yeah, can I get an 11?" Like, fell in love with the shoes, and I couldn't put my foot in it, and that's when I realized they were women's. But that's besides the point. But I think, like y'all have said, top to bottom, Liberty's the better team. The Sparks just not as consistent when I'm looking at all these stats and stuff. So yeah, give me Liberty.
Jack?
I'm fully picking off the names right here, and the Sparks do not sound good compared to Liberty. You got America versus a tiny little Spark. Give me Liberty.
That's a good way to pick it. Good way to pick it. PD, finish us out.
Liberty, man. Like, it's not comparable. Like, who knows anybody off the Sparks? Let's be honest. Nobody. No, quite. You don't count. But, like, it's just like she was the first ever player to have a 3-point competition with Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
actually-
it's not comparable. In my
Personally,
opinion.
didn't even know the Sparks were a team until this. I had heard about Liberty before, so yeah, I see exactly what you're saying.
The only reason I know about the Sparks is because whenever I load into 2K, I'll see the logo. That's it.
That's all valid reasons right there. All valid reasons. So let's hit up to the main event of possibly this episode. I don't know. Super controversial as of recently, but Fever vs. Sky, Caitlin Clark against her arch nemesis, Angel Reese. Not a fan of her, quite frankly. I don't want to start us off. I want Jack to start us off.
I'm basing off the same thing as last time with the names. I'm going with the Sky here. Fever you can recover from. The Sky's pretty big. I'm going with the Sky.
Okay. Wow. Ben?
I mean, I have the Fever, Caitlin, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, I think, is kind of unstoppable. And then you're facing Cardoso and Angel Reese, dominant front court, but they don't have any guard help. And it's basically an SEC roster with their point guard being from A&M with Reese and Cardoso. I think I have Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell in the Fever in a close one.
I think it's going to be a close one too. I mean, I think this might be the next big rivalry with Chicago being in Illinois and Fever being in Indiana. They're close by. Obviously the league's growing. You got two frenemies, we'll call them, with Reese and Clark. But I liked what you said with the SEC, and I want to point out Kennedy Carter. She's just kind of been a pain in the WNBA side as of recently. I mean, she got kicked off of her two previous teams. She had to go play overseas, and then the Sky picked her up. And she got suspended or whatever, and then you have Reese on the sideline hyping her up after she absolutely just clocked my girl Caitlin Clark. And then Angel Reese the other night getting a flagrant for once again just smacking the mess out of Caitlin, just absolutely disrespectful. And the poise that Caitlin has, in her post-game interviews, are just something amazing. She never backs down from the questions, and she always just answers it super cleanly. She's yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. I just got to continue playing. She's kind of that guy per se. Yeah, and then last time they played, she dropped 23 on their heads with 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and she's she's 6 foot maybe, and she's getting 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 23 points. And you have Aaliyah Boston at forward, or I guess they might move her to center since they're playing with 3 guards. Yeah, but I don't see how this team loses to the Sky. It's going to be close just because they're rivals, but that team is stacked for a WNBA roster, even though their wins don't show for it. But they're definitely on the up. Caitlin Clark's going to change the league.
Dominant backcourt for sure.
Dominant.
I'm going to have to agree with Jack here. I got the Sky.
Let's
James
go.
was mentioning. Oh, yeah. I mean, I see Fever. I
Chicago.
think yellow
They
fever.
can't lose.
Yeah. They're the next Chicago Bulls. Somebody has to be good in Chicago in basketball these days because we all know it's not the Bulls. But I think yellow fever and just sickness. And then Chicago, y'all were James, kind of what you were saying. Maybe they're a little too physical, but that physicality is helpful. Basketball, you got to be physical. You got to have the grit. You got to want it more. And it's just a game. She slapped them. It was just a game move. So, yeah, give me the Sky.
PD?
Caitlin Clark, man. It's Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Angel is so she never puts the app in. You know what I mean? All she does is talk to the public about Caitlin. All she wants to do is be Caitlin. And how much has Caitlin said? Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, it's just. And then if you go watch some Angel Reese highlights, you'll watch her get 5 putbacks and never make the ball in.
That's facts. Everyone talks about how she averages a triple or a double-double because she's getting her own rebound.
Exactly, and she's a foot taller than everybody. That doesn't make her good.
Exactly.
Caitlin Clark and her team is so much more skilled.
I just want to hit
I
on what you
respect
said
everything
real
you
quick.
said.
Fever
You said
on top.
she's a foot. You said she was a foot taller than everybody, and that doesn't make her good. I agree, especially when it comes to my boy Zach Edey. He's not good. He just was big, and besides the point, I don't like Purdue. That's a little biased, but still,
That's
anybody at
besides the
7'4",
point, but
basically.
all right.
Well, he can make a layup.
The difference
I don't know.
between
He also
Reese-
airballs free throws. So
Hey,
yeah, I mean-
Shaq airballed free throws.
exactly, they're both tall. That's what makes them good. I mean, it's just completely besides the point. But
Whoa! You just say Shaq's not good,
Shaq
no,
was
I
only
said
good 'cause
Shaq
he's
was
tall.
good.
but just
I'm
because
he
saying
was tall.
being tall, that's the difference maker. Somebody in Shaq's body, if I had Zach Edey's body, I'd be good at basketball because I can do whatever I
You gotta
want.
watch
Leave people
Shaq's
around.
post moves. He had nasty post moves.
No, I'm saying.
I mean,
but
I'm
Zach
still
Edey-
thinking of the highlight where he hit the spin move, dunked on someone's head, and then just looked down on him and walked over him. Some poor white guy. That was awesome. Awesome.
Shaq moves different than any NBA center you've ever seen.
That's
You realize
facts.
how
Except for
athletic he
Hakeem.
looks?
Watch some Hakeem.
Oh, yeah, him and Hakeem. Purdue center plays like Kareem. It's not athletic.
Exactly.
That's facts.
Yeah,
That was
I
the
agree
point
with
I
that.
was making, is that he is not athletic. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on
Yeah.
to some fun, don't we?
Yeah, a little bit of fun to round out the episode. Top 5 college football stadiums. And only bring this up because I saw a post today. I don't even remember who it was by, but it was probably the most atrocious top 10 college football stadiums I've ever seen. Having Ole Miss in the top 4? Terrible. Yeah, who is that by?
Focused? So it was SEC collab, but it was college football alerts. So
Okay.
it was Bama at 1, Oregon at 2, LSU at 3, Ole Miss 4, Georgia 5, Ohio State 6, Penn State 7, Washington 8, Texas 9, and then Michigan 10. So just
Michigan
some
should be
absurd
way
in there.
higher.
Just atrocious top 10.
Yeah.
Just wrong order. Obviously snubbed some teams. Personally, I don't think Ole Miss might not be a top 10 SEC team to begin with. So you want me to list 10 teams better?
No, it's fine. But I'm just
All right. I mean,
there's some bad ones.
I think Ole Miss debatably might not be a top 10 stadium in the SEC. The environment is nothing out of this world. Let's hear our top 5s. So let's all go around, say our 1s, then our 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. All right? Does that sound good?
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Drew, start us off.
I'm starting.
Yeah.
There's a toss-up because at the end of the day, there's so many factors that go into this. So the team has to be good for the stadium to be good. It's not just about the building; it's about the fans, the whole atmosphere. There's got to be a team to root for. So a few teams come to mind. For me, it came down to I ended up with Ohio State and the Horseshoe. I just think the whole atmosphere. Maybe it's a little too high for Ohio State. I just really like them at the number 1.
PD.
Hold up. Just give me 5 seconds, Trust.
All right.
All right. Got my answer.
Where's got the bucket? LSU?
It's not a bucket, but okay.
It sure looks like a bucket from here.
They're good. Their atmosphere is great, and their stadium's out of this world. It's not comparable. In my opinion, it's not because they just have all the
disagreeing with you. Yeah. Jack?
Virginia Tech. Inner Sandman entrance. Dude, I've been there. It's insane. You all start jumping, you get the keys out. It's just an atmosphere that's just insane. That's why they're number 1. Can't beat that.
Wow. That is a dark horse if I've ever seen it.
There's got to be a little bit of bias in that.
There might be a smidge of bias.
If you go to a Virginia Tech game and you hear Inner Sandman, there's nothing that beats that.
I think that might be one of the greatest traditions, but I don't know if that makes it the greatest stadium.
No, it makes it the best stadium. It's insane.
All right, I'm sick of hearing him. Ben?
I mean, I don't think there's not a clear winner, but in my eyes, I think you have to go down to the Bayou and head to Death Valley in Tiger Stadium. You can't beat a Saturday night down on the Bayou with those fans, that atmosphere, and the team trending in the right direction. Brian Kelly's made a great stop down at LSU and has continued to trending straight up, and that stadium is packed and loud every Saturday night.
Yeah, I'll agree with you and PD. I have LSU at 1, plain and simple. Heading down to Death Valley on a Saturday night might be one of the scariest things that any team in the nation can face. I mean, their fans are electric. They have great traditions. They have a phenomenal stadium. I mean, I've seen it. The Eye of the Tiger, too, and the special on field where they go every 5 yards with the numbers and stuff. I think that's super cool. Makes their stadium unique. It's just such an insane environment. I'm getting chills thinking about it right now because I know how hard it is to play in that stadium as a Mississippi State fan. So I think it checks off all the boxes on traditions, fans, atmosphere, uniqueness of the stadium. And it's huge. It's one of the biggest in the SEC. You can't beat it at all. Drew, start us out with number 2.
Well, number 2 now, y'all took it at 1, but I'm flipping down to the Bayou. I don't think there's a lot. I mean, 1 through 5, the difference between them is not that. I'd say like the top 10, the difference between the top 10, met like 12, who knows? It just kind of depends on the day. But then you fall off. But so I'm going to go down to the Bayou. You know, Tennessee was down there 2 years ago, I think, absolutely smothered LSU. It was a day game. People are like, oh, okay, the LSU fans weren't awake. Who cares? But still, great atmosphere. I just think loud crowd. Yeah, so Death Valley there, Tiger Stadium.
Excellent pick. PD?
Ohio State. Horseshoe.
Yeah.
Atmosphere, they're always good. Little overrated. You know.
Yeah.
Good coaching staff. Good atmosphere. Great stadium. All the factors you need.
No, not wrong.
Quick question.
Not wrong.
Do we think Ohio State's overrated?
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
somewhat, yeah. Yeah.
Always.
Hey, yeah. I got to give a speech on that. So, yeah, I definitely do. Sorry, Miss Feature.
All right, Jack.
I have to do the same thing as Drew right here and take LSU. Great atmosphere.
Excellent. Ben?
I think you have to go to Athens. Between the hedges, team's always good. Kirby's doing one great job down there. And I think that Athens, any time of day, is going to be hard for anybody to come in there and win. And if they do, it's going to be an absolute rock fight because no one's beating them at home. Not in that environment.
Yeah, no, I've seen the Georgia fans where they're barking at people. We've all seen the video of that one like nerdy looking dude who's got his whole body painted. He says, "The dogs." He's like screaming. That's awesome. But I don't even have Georgia in my top 5 because at number 2, I got Michigan. Obviously had a few down years before these uphill years with Harbaugh. Harbaugh's gone. They're going to take a hit with that. But, I mean, when it's packed, you got the most fans in the country in that stadium. It's like nothing else. I've been to the stadium. You have traditions with the M Club supports you sign that they slap before every game. They always have songs going, especially with shoot, I'm blanking on it. Mr. something.
Mr. Brightside.
Mr. Thank you, Ben. I have no clue how I blanked on that. Awesome song. Hail to the Victors is a great I can't think of anything. It's a great song that they sing, and it's a phenomenal atmosphere. Historic team, arguably the most historic in the country, and it's a great stadium too. Drew, who's your 3?
Number 3, got to go with the hometown team, Neyland Stadium, go Vols. Every team that goes into it, whether it's coaches, players, they all say it is the SEC because it's SEC teams there. It's Nick Saban, Kirby Smart. Like they all say, hardest environment to play in. The fans, the sound just echoes. The river right behind it, just beautiful. The checkerboard in the stadium, like in the end zones when they checkerboard the stadium, everything about it, just awesome environment. Fans are always loud. I mean, 3, I feel bad giving them 3, but there are some better stadiums, but solid choice in my 3 spot.
PD?
So, Quag, you've been to Michigan, right?
I have.
Okay. If you look up a picture of it, I don't know. I haven't been there in person. But you know how it kind of goes outwards on the stands? They go outwards instead of being so close. With that factor being there, I can't put them at 3. It just doesn't feel like it'd be as competitive, nerve-wracking to the players. You know what I mean? Like, and
it's built into the ground there, so
true.
It holds a lot more in.
I know that, but I just don't feel like it. And with that, I'm gonna have to go with Tennessee. If you go back, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, whenever Alabama lost
2 years ago.
If you just go watch that game, you'll understand. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
But, yeah, Tennessee.
Jack?
I'm going to have to go with Penn State just because of the whiteout. The whiteout just makes it insane. I've seen, like, games played when they're whiteout and the fans are just crazy. They'll have, like, the the beer snakes going all the way up, and then just have like the what's the beer triangles, like the pyramids
Yeah.
going up, and
Pyramid.
they're just rowdy, just going crazy. So I got to go Penn State.
Ben?
Agree with that 100%. A whiteout on a Saturday night in Penn State, can't beat it. Those fans, how they get rowdy for a game like that. If you go watch an Ohio State game, you go watch a Michigan game, no matter what time it is, that place will be rocking no matter what. Penn State at 3.
Penn State's one I really debated on putting in my top 5. I have them at 6 right now. I mean, it's purely because, I'm sorry, Jack and Ben, it's because just how overrated they are. Every year, I mean, they haven't beaten Ohio State since Saquon was there. They haven't beat Michigan in a few years. I just feel like they're kind of overrated, and that kind of just kills. There's nothing too special about their stadium, really, besides the whiteout. The whiteout's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. But that's why I have them at 6. And at my 3, I have Texas. With their new renovations, I really liked how they put the Longhorn in their stands where you can see it. That's really cool if you look up a picture. They're joining the SEC. They have a brutal environment. Hopefully, I can go to the Texas-Mississippi State game this year. I have friends that go to a lot of the games, and it really just – I think it's going to be great for the SEC. In Austin, too, tons of great traditions. Obviously, with the Longhorn, Bevo on the field, that just adds an intimidation factor for opposing fans. Just like LSU used to have Mike the Tiger sit by the visitors' tunnel. That used to be awesome at LSU. But I got Texas at 3. Little sleeper pick.
All right, so I got a sleeper pick at my 4th spot too. But before I get into this, just talking about this, first of all, it gets me hyped for NCAA football, middle of July. Can't wait for that. That's going to be hype. Great time with the boys, get those dynasties rolling. Also, college football season. It's like less than 100 days away or something. Can't wait. Best time of the year. Love the fall. It'll be fun. But my number 4 pick, I'm going to have to go with the Swamp. A little bit of a sleeper, but Florida, even in their worst years, finds a way to win at home. And I just think something about the Swamp is so intimidating. And the fans, they're going to be loud. It's Florida fans. Despise Florida. But I got to give it to the Swamp.
I know. Excellent pick. PD?
Michigan. I said all good things about them. I just didn't think they were Tennessee. They're right behind them.
That's
Great
a
team.
completely valid.
Always
valid
great
point.
team. Biggest stadium pretty much in college football. Yeah. And just, there's only one thing that's bad about it, and it's probably how far away the fans can be, and it's not going to be as loud. I mean, I've heard, I've literally seen things where, former college football players would say that's, overrated just because it wasn't as nerve-wracking to them because they weren't as close to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get your point, and I see that in the stadium.
Yeah, but no, great stadium. Definitely up there. That's my fault.
Jack?
Same thing. Michigan right there. Number 4.
I feel like the name also helps. The Big House, that's a cool name to have. Like Tiger Stadium in Death Valley, that's cool. And then the Big House, all really cool names. Ben, your 4?
My 4 is going to be your 3, James. Austin, Texas. No, horns down. The Will Bednar special.
The Will Bednar special. Miss that boy a lot. No. And
I think Texas, with their fans, what Sark's doing, what everything is trending in the right direction, with them coming to the SEC, no matter what, I think they will still be a 10-win team with Quinn Ewers, and I think that team will have a push to be in the top 12, especially coming to the SEC, might even be a top 8.
no.
But number 4, Memorial at Texas.
Yeah, don't blame me. And that reminds me, this body armor color kind of looks like UT Austin's burnt orange. Body armor, please sponsor us. I drink you 2 or 3 times a day, so kind of would like some money for it. At 4, I got another kind of sleeper on the list. It made the top 10 for college football alert or whatever, it's Oregon. My parents have been. They said about how unique the environment was, and they went in like 2002 or 3. So they went years ago. I mean, my dad's an Ankh at this point. Like, I mean, it's crazy. But part of it is the beauty within it, which is similar to Tennessee's. Like with all the mountains in the background, and just I've seen pictures of like when the sun's setting, and it's awesome. Obviously, they have some great uniforms to go along with it, and some great traditions with like the duck riding out on the motorcycle. That's awesome. Have one of the best, if not the best, mascot in college sports with the Oregon Duck. Great unis, great field, and phenomenal fans too for a Pac-12, now a Big Ten school. They definitely were one of the teams keeping the Pac-12 afloat. And so I got to respect them. Got to give respect where respect's due and have Oregon at my 4.
That's so valid. That's a good pick.
So, yeah, my 5 is kind of going to be like your 4, James, basing it off. Talked a lot about fans and the atmosphere, but at the end of the day, we're talking about stadiums here, and nothing gets more iconic than the Rose Bowl. Talk about the mountains in the background, everything about it. Atmosphere aside, UCLA might not be the best program right now, but the Rose Bowl, just hosted the Rose Bowl game like every year. It's just iconic, and I don't think it deserves to be in the top 5 just because of what it is. The stadium, just the history and all of that about the Rose Bowl. It's a beautiful stadium, great views, great sunsets. I got to watch a sunset from there, just like absolutely incredible.
PD?
Swamp. Gators, man. Their fans are just crazy. If you think of a crazy college football fan, you're going to think of a Florida Gators fan. Right?
They definitely come into my head and probably my top 5.
They're consistent.
Them in Georgia.
They're not great right now in football, let's be honest. But, they're always a consistent SEC team. And, there's no conference like the SEC. They will always be consistently decent to okay to great. And just big old stadium. I mean, on Saturday night, you don't want to be there and play there. All the coaches did say that. That's true. Nick Saban said that. It's just, no. Florida. Yep.
Yeah. Jack?
I'm going to go with Tennessee. I really don't go to Tennessee football games, but when I do go, I've been to where there's like checkerboards. It's pretty cool. But probably the biggest game that I went to was Bristol with Virginia Tech and Tennessee, and that game was electric. Started off great for Virginia Tech, and then it just went to the ground after we fumbled. But the Tennessee fans there were pretty crazy. I was surrounded by them, and they were loud whenever it was third down, so I got to give it to Tennessee.
Great pick.
Sleeper pick. Mountain West. Smurf Turf. Boise State.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Coolest field in college football. Fans get after it because it's the only thing to do other than farm. Boise State with an honorable mention of Neyland and probably Davis Wade with the atmosphere and with the place crazy every Saturday, no matter if we're good, bad, or just in the middle, like what I think it'll be this year. I mean, I just don't think you can beat on a Smurf turf, blue. I mean, Boise State at 5.
Dude, that's a sleeper for sure because they definitely did not sniff my top 5. At 5, I want to talk about Drew's real quick. Rose Bowl, I know you went during the COVID year, right?
Yeah, it was 2021, so it was full stadium, like max.
Was it
capacity.
full for sure? Because the biggest problem I ran into, I went there this year for the Michigan-Bama game, and you're right, it's a pretty stadium. From being on the inside watching the sunset, I've got a couple really good photos of that, but my problem is trying to get into your seat. I mean, we're all shoulder to shoulder. It might have been worse than the Travis Scott mosh pit. I mean, it was terrible. I'm not going to lie. Like, I couldn't breathe at sometimes. There was just so many people. I was being touched everywhere. So that's why, I mean, it's a historic stadium. But for that reason, I just couldn't put it. I mean, it took me a good 30 minutes to get to my seat from entering the stadium to trying to get to my seat, it was a good 30 minutes. I couldn't even get any food or drink. But at 5, I have one that y'all all seem to like. Tennessee, it's a pretty stadium. It has the Vols, which I think is really cool on the outside. And they've definitely redone it in the past few years to make it look really nice. And with the river and the landscape behind it, it's a beautiful stadium, great fans, great atmosphere. Got to go for the Georgia game. Didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to go, but that first touchdown, we broke the noise record. So that was awesome to see just how, exciting a Tennessee game can be when they're a good team and when they're winning. And, yeah, that's my 5 pick. Obviously, y'all seem to like that pick, and it just fell a little on my list. Anything else y'all want to cover?
Honorable mentions.
All right,
Yeah,
hit
I
us
like
with
that.
a couple, PD.
This is so biased, but you got to hear me out.
All right.
Davis Wade, man. It's something. Don't lie. I know you and Ben have been there, obviously. The cowbells. It's like, who else does that?
Nobody.
Exactly. Nobody.
Nobody.
Now, you're not going to hear a lot of people say that because who the hell goes to Mississippi State? Nobody.
Got a point.
Our team is trash. Our coaches are trash. Starkville's okay. Good place. Stadium, mediocre. Not the biggest. Not too big at all, to be honest. But
Hold up. You just said the honorable mention for one of your top college football stadiums, and then you just said stadium is mediocre. I don't know. It just seems a little hot.
No, I'm just putting it all together,
No, I get it. I'm just messing.
But, I'm still saying, the atmosphere is just really hard to beat. I mean, Tennessee, of course, yeah.
That's fair.
Tiger Stadium, yeah. But,
I mean, there's so many out there that are deserving, like Clemson, where they run through with, Howard's Rock or whatever. It's also called Death Valley, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
I know it's not the same.
It's the off-brand.
It's off-brand Death Valley, but it is a great environment. It's even for a smaller stadium. It's kind of built into the ground, kind of like Michigan. But another one, there's so many that we can name.
We could sit here all
10
night.
to 12, and then out there, yeah, exactly.
Because definitely, honorable mention for me is definitely the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It has to be. It's one of the coolest and longest outgoing stadiums there is right now. And there's not a lot of people who are going to agree with this, James. I think Oregon's very neat, very cool. But there's also a team that, now since the Pac-12 is gone, is Washington.
Yeah.
Washington's very, very neat because you have the Pacific in the background, and it's just a neat stadium that not a lot of teams get to experience. And when you go there, you feel like you're in heaven. And so those are my 2, other than Davis Wade and Neyland.
I mean, I had one, and that's A&M, just from a sheer size of it. I mean, when I toured A&M, didn't love the tour, not going to go to college there. But the first thing I noticed was how big that stadium is. I think all of us have been to Dallas, or at least have seen pictures of Jerry World and how big that is. This one made Jerry World feel small. Obviously, the school is crazy. I already talked about them. Some of this episode, their fans are so dedicated to that school. It's not even funny. But that stadium's just huge. It's very nice from the outside. I mean, the traditions are unlike any other in the country. I mean, that's how they get called a cult. But that was my one honorable mention, was Texas A&M.
It's a good one.
All right. Well, Ben, PD, thank you all for joining us. Another great episode. I'm going to be gone for the next few weeks. So James will be gone here right after 4th of July. So who knows what content will look like. We'll try and keep you all updated. But thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Peace out.
See y'all next time.
See ya. Go Raiders.